What is up, you guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Williamson. Look, it's going to be a rough one. I can already tell. Almost fell over in my chair. People were being loud outside. I just had to walk 4.5 hours to go get my car. I'm going to leave that one alone. So needless to say, I'm in a mood. Why am I in a mood? You saw the title? Losing control. What does that mean? We lost control. Don't need to make it any deeper than that, right? Not in the mood to get all philosophical right now. I have been put in a situation multiple times in the last few days where I have no control. I have no say over either my own property or my actions, like where I'm allowed to be and where I'm not. And it has become quite frustrating, especially when there's no legal reasons to keep things from people or stuff like that. I'm sure we all know situations where while you're in a relationship, you have property. And then when you separate, you still use said property, but maybe not all of that is in one's name or the other. So things get kind of complicated. Here's one thing that I have always been very, very bad at. And I have to admit this because I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute for a long time. When I was in marriages or relationships at all, anytime someone would ask me something, normally my go-to answer would be, I don't know, you have to ask my wife. Or I don't know, ask my girl. I don't know. Especially when it came to like scheduling and stuff like that. I have no idea. You have to ask her. And again, I think for a while that made either the other party in my relationship feel good, like, he trusts me for everything, he leans on me for everything. But then I think after a while, that becomes very much annoying to that other person, where you never know what's going on, you don't know the schedules, you don't know like the ins and outs, and you just go, I don't know, you have to ask them. Right? Well, that also turns into like paperwork and shit like that, when you just don't do stuff like that. I've always said I'm not a logistical person. I just don't like logistics. I don't do it. But when you go from being married to single, you have to learn to do all your own logistical stuff. And some of that, takes getting control of your life back, putting things back in your name, getting your own place, stuff like that, paying your own bills, making sure that you do your taxes. Like that was something I had to do for the first time in my life this year by myself, was my taxes. I know, I'm 32. But again, I've been married or some shit like that since I was 18 years old. What I want to tell you is you can make the choice to get control back as much as humanly possible by just controlling your own actions. And like, if people want to call bluffs on you and shit, call them on them. Like, again, I walked 4.5 hours today to prove a point. They're like, I'm going to get my shit. And it sucks, man, because 4.5 hours is a long time to walk and think. Think about all the people in your life and think about where you stand with every one of them and all the recent interactions you may or may not have had with them, and go, actually, as I stand right now, I'm pretty happy with where my life is. I'm not mad at it. I got really no one that can tell me what to do or when to do it. I have a job that allows me to do pretty much what I want. Takes care of my kids. I've been stumbling a little bit here recently with the drinking stuff. You guys knew that. Yeah, it's just been something that I'm working on. It's something that I really wish in my life wasn't made as big of a deal as it is. It's always a thing in my life. Like, are you doing it? Are you not doing it? It's always a thing around me. And finally, I'm at a stage in my life where it's like, I don't have to answer to any of you motherfuckers. I have a court in Indiana that I have to answer to. They really want to see me stay out of trouble and shit so I can be the best father to my oldest. That's my main reason for why I keep my shit together now, to be very honest. That and my youngest daughter. But it's like, I'm finally not doing this for another person or because someone else told me to or because I'm tired of hearing stories about the night prior or I'm tired of starting fights because when I have a couple too many or I have a couple at all, now I'm ready to tell you exactly what I've been pushing down all day because I didn't want to start a fight. Right? And then I understand that I would lose control in those areas where I would get too emotional, and you're not having a rational conversation about your feelings. You're having an emotional, usually rage-filled one, right? Because for me, sadness, I think I'm pretty good with telling people, hey, I'm sad. This makes me sad. I don't think I really get sad about a lot of things, a lot of topics. It's really like it would have to be my kids or somebody I love that would, either hurt me or I somehow hurt them. Then, yeah, I would for sure get sad. Anger and rage is more my thing. But I've always said, and people have always said it about me, like it takes a lot to get me mad. And it does, because I'm the type of person that'll just be like, okay, all right. And I'll just kind of stuff it and stuff it and stuff it and stuff it. And that's where like physical violence is no good for me, right? Getting in street confrontations because of that same reason, where I'm not quick to be like, mother, and start swinging on somebody because I know laws and stuff like that. I'm not going to jail. But my thing is, once you get me to the point where now I'm not there anymore, I've checked out and I'm just seeing red, well, brother, you got to deal with that. And sometimes that I used to get very close to that line, not physically, but emotionally, where I'm just seeing red and I'm not even making sense. I talk in circles a lot, where it's like, one thing that I would always lose control of conversations and communication in my relationships was, and I was always accused of this, and I do this, is talk in circles. So I bring up an issue. You acknowledge that the issue was there and are saying that's not going to be an issue anymore. I ask how we're going to change it. You give me an answer, and then I ask, well, we've had this same conversation before. Why am I not to expect that this is going to happen again? And they go, well, there's no pleasing you. There's no way to make you happy here. So then you go, no, there is. I need you to tell me what's going to be different this time. Because you've told me all this before. So all A, B, and C you just laid out, we've heard those and those didn't work. What else you got? And see, when you start talking like that, now you're belittling people and you're talking down to them and you're being like, well, motherfucker, and it's like, you lose control of your own self, your humanity. And that's one thing I've been so disappointed in myself over this last year, is I always like to, believe that kindness and just being love to every person that you engage with, that's like the most important thing to me. And I've let anger and rage and feelings of hurt and confusion and stuff like that, I've let that very much overpower who I am. And over this past weekend too, I got to really remember a part of who I was, which I'm a fun guy to be around. I easily make friends, and I'm pretty good at shit that I didn't think I would be good at. I had a great time golfing. I did a golf outing this Saturday for my cousins, my old high school, Westland High School. My cousin is the head coach for their football team now, and it was a great time. Got myself into a little situation afterwards, but hey, things happen. Things happen when you're having fun. Saturdays were definitely for the boys, but hey, man. You live and you move on. I'm done with this sitting in the mud of what happened yesterday. People trying to make you feel like shit because you wanted to have a good time, or people wanting to do whatever they want. Man, let people think and do whatever the hell they want. Here's what I'll tell you. I feel this caveat's important. If you know that you have every legal ground to stand on, and people can threaten you with taking you to court for your kids, people can threaten to take your shit, people can threaten whatever. If you know, it's very important, if you know that it's just gabba, let it be. Let people fucking talk, man. Because here's one thing that this is how I lost myself in so many situations, where I hear shit coming at me and I'm already emotional, and then I'm taking emotional attacks. Now I'm getting more emotional, more out of my own element, out of my own rational thinking, where in an argument, I don't need to be right. I just need to understand. So if your viewpoint is better than my viewpoint, fine, but help me understand. And I will talk it out until I understand, because if I can't understand, I can't go along with it. And that's caused me a lot of problems, because people be like, well, you can't just let things be what they are. No, man. And sometimes I guess it could be a massive control issue where, especially when you have PTSD, you want to control everything so you feel like everything and everyone is safe. But I'll tell you what, especially as I've gotten back out there in the real world here recently, like, and I'm out doing stuff again, you can't live life like that. You can't live life trying to analyze every little movement, what they're doing, where they're going, who they're talking to, when they're waking up. Like, you got to let people be. And you know what? What I found is, especially with the female types, when you let them be to just do what they're going to do and like let them sleep and, you know, whatever, talk to them when you talk to them and shit, they're a lot happier. They're a lot funnier. They're a lot, you know, more fun to be around when they don't feel like they're being kept in this little tiny box of what you expect from them. And there's some women that take that position by the reins and go, hey, I'm your life partner in this thing. Or if for now, like, I'm just here because I want to see what this is, you know? And it's like, you got to be open and you got to let loose of the reins of control all the time, while remembering that that's the only way to stay in control of yourself. Quit worrying about what everyone else is doing. Quit worrying about what everyone else is thinking. And this is one thing I cannot stand that's been happening a lot recently. Quit worrying about other people's pockets. Who gives a shit how much they make, I make, you make? Who gives a shit? Either go make more, or if you make enough, take some time off doing whatever you're doing and invest it in whatever you want to be doing. Simple as that. Simple as that. You don't have enough money? Go get a second job. Simple. There's so many places hiring. I sat around for months going, oh, money situations and this and that and this and that. And it's like, dude, you know how many things I'm qualified to go do, or things I could just do because I'm a warm-blooded human being? You can. You could fix your shit. There are some things you need to take control of, and there's some things you need to massively let go of control of. And I'll end on this. This is very important. Very cliche as well, so I'm sorry. You cannot control other people. You can't control their emotions. You can't control what comes out of their mouth. You can't control what threats they're going to make. You can't control what texts they respond to or what calls they respond to or what they don't. You can't. What you can do is show up authentically every day. Every day, whatever that is. You know, I'm going to sit here and tell you to try to make it your best, but I'll be honest, I haven't showed up my best every day this past couple weeks. I've fallen. I've stumbled. I've woken up the next morning going, what the fuck? Why the fuck did I do that? Like, come on, man, you're better than this. And then guess what? I wake up the next day and I'm better than that. For so long, I had even people that claimed to love me and want to see me get better, that on the first day of getting better, they're still beating the hell out of me for the day before. And I'll just tell you right now, you're not helping anyone change by reminding them of what a fuck up they were. It doesn't work that way. And I think this is important. There's a kind of a side situation that I know about. If people have problems with like substances or food or, you know, whatever their situation is, and they remove themselves from people or situations for a while, it's okay for them to be removed for a long period of time. Sometimes people cannot go back around certain places, people, situations for their own betterment because, again, it could cause them to fall back into an old way of life, which is detrimental or even fatal for them. So if someone is choosing to take silent space away from you, maybe choose not to take it as personally, because you have no idea what people are going through. Most of the time, they don't share their honest, you know, the deepest, darkest parts of themselves. And then when you see people maybe act in certain ways or trying to project certain things, you could definitely call them out on it. But sometimes I think it's better to just be a listening ear. One thing I'm trying to be better about recently is like when you see somebody that's obviously having a bad day, just give them a hug. Hey, you all right? Come here. And hug them. You have no idea what that could do for somebody. And I just want you guys to know, man, I really love you guys. I love the fact that the 20 of you guys that tune in each week for this show, you do. It means a lot to me. This show gives me a lot of purpose. It always has. And this is also an accountability thing for me. I don't want to ever get on here and lie to you guys and make shit up and make it seem like my life is all perfect when it's not, because I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. But I hope that I'm still documenting a journey going this way, right? Just because we're going this way, that doesn't mean that we can't kind of do one of these numbers. I'm not so much on a rocket ship trajectory. I'm more on the mountain climbing. The apex is up there somewhere. It's up there. We'll get there. But it's been a little rocky. That's okay. That's all right. That's why it's the road to redemption, baby. If I have to redeem myself every single day to be better, every day I will. And a lot of that is because of you guys. And, I don't know who you guys all are unless you comment. But if you're watching me, if you're hearing my voice through the screen, know how much I love you. And you save my life on a daily basis. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out.